Hello everyone and welcome back to another Global Lab patch notes reading. It's been a while since we did this. So Global Lab's patch notes come out every Friday and usually it goes to the live server the following week. So it's always a good idea to check out what's happening and what's coming up in the near future. So if you want to read this, I'll leave a link in the description. It's translated from Korean to English, so I'll try to make it make sense. And apparently this week isn't too exciting. We have some updates, but it's not like super major class balances and everything. But anyway, with that said, today is May 16th, and let's talk about this. So, number one, Dosa apparently is getting some bonuses and stuff added. I'm not really too sure. I don't play Dosa, so whether this is good or not, let's see. So, the skill Dawn Mist, I assume that's a Korean name, I don't know, is coming with the Abyssal Legacy. So basically, for all of you who did the Magnus quest, you get the free skill that flows with everything. So I think that's good. Free skill for Dosa, and that just adds to your rotation. New skill, or let's see. So I don't know too much about the skills itself, but from basic looking at it, numbers are going up, so that means this is probably a PvE damage buff, which is good. And in my opinion, I think Dosa is doing just fine, honestly. If they get buffed, that's great. But usually when I see Dosas around, they're like, you know, support and they buff your group. So that's always good. They're kind of like Shies, but in a different way. And they actually are super helpful in groups. So yeah, good to see that numbers are going up. So that just means Dosas are more wanted in group content and as well as everything else. And apparently that's it. There's no other class balances, which is kind of odd because you know how the past few weeks they've been doing a lot of class changes, whether it's buffs or nerfs. People are either happy or you're unhappy with the current events of things. But yeah, I'm assuming they're testing all this data, and Pearl Abyss is just like collecting all the information and will do tweaks in the future. That could just be coping, but who knows? We'll see. All right, content. I actually read about this one, and they're kind of like reducing the cost of nodes to be cheaper. So for all of you new players, that's super helpful. And to all of us endgame players, we just have more contribution points to invest into whatever in the future. So they're going to be adding a new house in the Ulukita area. So for all of you who like house decorating and all that stuff, I think that's good. And they're adding like actual stuff to have the workers go on and in the Ulukita area, which is always good. I thought it was weird that when they first came out, like investing in a node in Ulukita meant you just wanted to grind there for the drop rate bonus. So the fact that they're actually adding stuff like, you know, materials to collect is always a good thing. And yeah, I'll probably have to do another update after we take a look at all this in the future. So hopefully it's not too bad. So new production materials and everything. Let's see what is worth getting. Trace of Nature is generally across the board good. If you do a lot of alchemy, that's good. At least here on the NA server, a lot of these crystal thingies, like these blue crystal ores, if you have them saved up, send them to your Land in a Morning Light. And if you do the Royal Workshop stuff, it kind of just eats those up anyway. So if you might as well just send them there, have something on production 24/7, and you're good. I believe the clear crystal ones, at least here on NA, are worth it. I'm not sure about the blue ones, but you know, like the clear ones, transparent. Birch sap is really nice. Blood tree knots are, I think they're used for bartering and a lot of alchemy, which is why they're important. Sap is always good when I talked about that in my other node worker video. So a lot of good stuff in general. And Monk's Branch has been going up and down for some reason. But overall, birch log's always high. Saps are good. Blood tree knots. Certain ores are worth a lot as well. So I think this is, you know, overall good. I mean, it's better than nothing. And let's see, task managers, I assume you just hire workers and stuff. Going forward, adding new houses and all that stuff. Since they're adding nodes, they have to add workers. That's cool, as expected. Easing of contribution to residential purchases. So what that means is if you have a house and you like house decorating or putting, you know, those things so you get buffs in the house, I think that's a good thing. And it's just lowering the cost from whatever it is to lower. So I think that's good. Let's see, which are the ones are important and worth noting. I think Valencia is a good one simply because people who do trade crate deliveries, you probably have something in either Grana or Valencia, and now that's getting lowered. That's actually just good. Let's look at the ones that I have. I have a Balanos house, 2-3. I don't remember which house I have, to be honest. Hold on, let me look at this one. Let me see. I have 2-3. 2-3, 9-4. Okay, so I think 2-3 was one of the ones that got changed. It was getting changed from 5 to 3. Yeah, we're getting a 2 refund. Let's go. I got 9-4, so from 5 to 4, that's plus. We're getting 3 extra. I do have Comma Sylvia. Which one? Which one do I have in Comma Sylvia? Grana 1. Okay, so let's see. Grana 1 from 8 to 5. Dude, I'm getting like I'm pretty sure I'm getting a fat refund on contributions, at least like 7 points as of, you know, next week. So I think that's overall good. And I don't think I have any in Calpheon or Madaya, so it's whatever. AFK activities, fishing, farming, and training. These AFK activities are often set up before you go to bed at the end of the day. Some people fish 24/7, by the way. Not just before you go to bed, but, you know, that's beside the point. You usually wake up in the morning, check the results from the night before, and replant. Okay, yeah, I mean, people have been doing that for 10 years, but today we're introducing an update to help you start your mornings with a little bit more ease, freeing you from those routines. That's cool. Let's look at it. All right, price guarantee for fish has been increased from 24 to 48 hours. Increases the time for decay, for fish turn-ins. That's good. I don't know if that's helping me ease my day because I'm still going to do the exact same thing. It just you have an extra day to like take a break from it. But I mean, it's better than not having it, I guess. Added Seed of Abundance. And from cultivation time to approximately 24 hours. And increase the number of items that can be obtained. So, like, currently, for all of you lazy farmers out there, instead of doing 10 by 10 plots, you could have like one set that goes for 24 hours and you get like a fat thing once a day instead of like, you know, 2 or 3 times a day. We're gonna have to do some testing on this one because assuming that you're trying to go for farming levels, which I think farming levels are actually useless, I think that, you know, they better scale the XP to match, you know, doing it 3 or 4 times a day and by 10 by 10 blues. So we'll see whether this is an actual good thing or not in the future. And, you know, do I trust Pearl Abyss to actually calculate these numbers? No. It's something the community is going to have to do ourselves. So, yeah. Item description for combat and skill XP has been made clear. And where to obtain it. there's literally only one way to obtain 530 scrolls, and that's the Pearl Shop once a year for silver. So I guess for anyone wondering how you get it, literally the Pearl Shop and maybe the rare event, but yeah, these are not a common thing. 530s are once a year. You get like 53 of them from Pearl Shop for silver, and that's literally about it. Requests and knowledge for fishing. I believe, is that fishing? Spreading in Velia, blah, blah, blah. You have the knowledge of Achilles' eye. You should if you do any sailing. Literally irrelevant. Node wars and sieges. To ensure that each siege weapon in Node and Conquest War have been more defined roles, we're adjusting the balance of siege weapons. Okay. Following siege weapons have been balanced. Cannons increased damage by 100%. You know, that's probably fine because, like, realistically, with people getting more gear and everyone being full buffed, you know, my experience in war is, like, everyone just wants to play the character. There's a few people that would rather just sit in a cannon or a ballista all day. That's cool, but, like, realistically, they're, you know, not as important as you may. Like, they are important, but most people don't want to be the one doing it, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so damage increased against towers and, you know, objects. Cool. Reduces damage and ER evasion. Yeah, these are actually flame towers. Actually good now. We'll see. Elephants. You know, dude, I have driven an elephant exactly one time. That was the least fun thing I've ever done. You would think that, you know, the ogre that you can ride and the elephants are going to be fun. You just trample people and everything. The control and movement is like the least fun thing you can do. So I would rather play my character. But, you know, change that side of mouse movement is impossible while using an attack skill. Cool. Increase the damage. Cool. The moving horn attack. Yeah, moving. Improve the ability to rotate from the start of the front kick and before until the back. The rotation speed while moving. Horn attack has been increased. So is this trying to make it like easier to control? Because I don't know, the elephant was not fun from the one time I've done it, and maybe we'll do it again one day just for the memes. Hidden timer forts. Determined the closing time of Node War forts has been changed, so the battle remains tense until the end. I understand why they're doing this, because, you know, usually a lot of fights are scripted, especially in Conquest Wars, and, you know, usually guilds just give the node to the other guild, and it's not like a real fight to see who gets it. It's more like, oh, let's just do some open world GVGs, and at the end of the day, who cares who wins? And I think Pearl Abyss wants, you know, people to actually, you know, play seriously instead of just having a random war or just random GVGs for titles and whatnot. So I guess that could be one of the things that they're adding, but cool. Rewards you can obtain from stronghold battles have been improved. Let's see. Honestly, the real important thing that comes for this is, I think the most important thing that people get out of the like Node Wars and Siege buffs is the actual buff, because people grind. If you see the thing at the top, you know, where it lists all your buffs at the top, and then, you know, the war buff. I think that's the most important thing. All of these in 2025 are less relevant. They used to be good back in the day, and, you know, remember getting those Jin crystals for special evasions that are now HP. Those used to be amazing. Now it's just like whatever. A lot of these, I think Siege Wars and everything really need to be buffed, and these rewards are kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I assume the Siege PvP scene is not as big as they think it is, but you know, it is what it is. Like you do a 2-hour war. What do you get? 3 deep sea deep sea elixirs, 3 perfume of courage. Oh wow. In an actual 2-hour war and you're full buffed, you use a lot more elixirs than, you know, you're actually getting. So like all of these, you're not even making your silver back. If assuming you're full buffed and you're taking the war seriously, all of these rewards are terrible. Like, what do they expect? It's like, you do a 2-hour war, you're lighting so much silver on fire just to keep your elixirs and buff rotations going, and then they reward you with this, and you're just like, wow. Still not even breaking even. And then, man, this is depressing to look at. You have a chance of getting a Deboreka accessory when it's already on a decline. You know what they should do? Increase these Deberekas to at least Pry minimum. That way people are getting a decent amount of silver back from it. And, you know, all elixirs should be immortal and give you like 5 or 10 of them, I would say, on the higher side to make things worth it. So immortals that are sellable. That way there's a reward value from that. Deberekas should be at least Pry minimum. Even Duo would be fine. And then, like, what are these? 45 brilliant metals? Wow. Okay. Anyway, you know, basically what I'm trying to say is buff, you know, war rewards. Okay. Following the previous update, which improved quality of life for horse taming, we've added fun new elements. Every time Pearl Abyss says they added fun new content, it's usually like tedious and annoying, but let's see. Increase the revenue of horses. That's good. But by how much? Improvements that enhancement chances are different. So basically what I read in the TLDR version before is tier 8s are more common, and you can raise or like, you know how when you catch a horse, it's like between level 1 to 15 or something. Now you can catch it up to level 20. So level of wild horses from 1 to 10 to 1 to 20. I wonder what the real rates of catching a level 20 horse at, you know, a higher level is, but we'll see. Maybe it's probably so dumb low to the point where it feels the same. Okay. The maximum level that can be grown on the season server is now 99% at level 63. How do I feel about this? I guess this is a good thing, but realistically, I'll tell you this advice as a new or like if you're a new player and you're wondering, I understand that a lot of people don't like PvP and season servers don't have, you know, PvP except for the dedicated PvP one. But realistically, once you're like level 61 or 62, I'd recommend just graduating, because if you're locked on the season server, aside from there's no PvP and you get like extra loot scrolls for like grinding in lower tier spots and then turning those time-filled stones in, like you're better off graduating at 61 and once everything is done and using actual gear. So like, let's say this is, you know, your first character. They give you a pen black star for hitting level 61 that you can't even use. And then, you know, you get a Tet black star from the rewards, and then you could get your deck and then get a second black star. So assuming you have 2 pen black stars and a Tet, you can't even use it while you're on seasons, and that's a significant upgrade. And I think that even if you're grinding in newer spots, like let's say you graduate off season and you're going into like the 260 AP area and so on, you're literally making more silver at those spots than staying on season to grind to level 64. And like level 63 doesn't really even mean anything. Yeah, you get a like extra hidden AP, whatever, but graduating after level 61 is probably the way to go, realistically. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good thing, but most people shouldn't be doing that. All right, so fixes and changing. This is a small list this week. I wonder what's happening. Black Temple, the phenomenon where the leader of the Golden Pig 8, 9, 10 would take a recovery action after a certain pattern has been fixed. Dude, I hate Golden Pig King so much. Like, I have done 8, 9, 10, and I had a video of it, but that is like the least fun thing I do. And it's like, I even see people who are way more geared than I am, like, dying to stupid RNG. And it's just not fun, but we all have to do it for Essence of Dawns. So it is what it is, but they literally need to look at a lot of things. And it's not even just, recovery action. There's a lot of stupid mechanics that Golden Pig King has that I just hate so much. I don't mind Sangoon because, like, if you mess up Sangoon, you generally feel like it's your fault. When you die to Golden Pig King, sometimes it's not your fault. So that's one thing that I think is the problem. Certain knowledge from the Or's Cradle has been fixed from the Orzekia dungeon. That's good, actually. Fixed an issue where auto movement was not smooth in some areas of Ulukita. There's only so many places in Ulukita you auto path. And that's about it. So with that said, what do I think about this week's patch? War buffs. It doesn't really seem that much better. I think the whole, siege weapons, I think, is a good thing, but like the reward is still trash. Their quality of life is they said it's supposed to make it like easier and make it so like you don't wake up and do it. Realistically, people are still gonna do it. Like, nothing is gonna change. It's just for the lazy people who can do it once every 2 days instead of a day. It's not actually easier. It's just you don't have to do it. It's like you're getting a day off of work. It's whatever. Reduced contribution points is probably the biggest thing in this update, across the board for everyone. Adding new nodes in Ulukita, always good. And I guess if you're a Dosa main, this is probably a nice change for you. But as for everyone else, overall patch, it's overall good, I guess. It's not really overall exciting, but overall a positive more than a negative. So anyway, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you guys come back. And we got some cool stuff coming up in the near future, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace!